Warm and windy here in the big country of West Texas. It's senior day as number 18 Abilene Christian welcomes in the Utah Tech Trailblazers. It's UAC football on ESPN+. Tailgating been going on for a couple of hours, and we're serving up a good one for you here today as well. Grant Boone alongside Coach Jim Reese. Jim, on paper, maybe to some this might look like a bit of a mismatch. You got the Wildcats of Abilene Christian tied for first in the loss column in the UAC, and Utah Tech at 2-7, but both teams are coming off some last-second victories last week.
Huge victories. Utah Tech, Trailblazers beating North Alabama 34-33. They had Asa Chapman running it for over 100 yards, so they came from such a great victory, and ACU is controlling its own destiny. Oh, yeah. So nice to be able to control one's own destiny when they had a overtime or a last-second win against Tarleton State.
Avoiding overtime thanks to Brandon Perez's walk-off 47-yarder. Let's talk about players to watch for each team. You mentioned Chapman, and he's been part of a really good running game for Utah Tech.
Yeah, that's the key to their offense. Running back Asa Chapman last week was 101 yards in just 18 carries, so they have to run the ball to be successful.
Had a couple of touchdowns, including the game winner in overtime to beat UNA. And for Abilene Christian, they use a lot of different guys in the backfield, and one of the best is Rovon Banks.
Yeah, Rovon Banks is short, but also very tough, great scat back, and has over 480 yards rushing for Abilene Christian, and is part of a vaunted running game that is the key maybe to ACU's offense.
A couple of touchdowns last week, including a 40-yarder. Let's meet the third member of our broadcast team down to the sidelines, and Daisy Strine.
Hey, Grant, thank you. The Wildcats are coming into this game with 8 straight home wins, 4 of those being this season. And head coach Keith Patterson's #1 goal going into each season is to go undefeated at home. With the win today over Utah Tech, that goal is just within reach for the Wildcats. In talking to some of his guys in the locker room, that is the #1 goal KP pushes on his guys. Let's go undefeated at home. We'll see if the Wildcats can reach that goal here tonight. Guys, back to you.
Okay, Daisy, thanks. Yeah, 5-0, that's the goal, and also keep winning. As big as the victory was last week against Tarleton State for Abilene Christian, they've got to win these next 3 to go to the playoffs. And coin toss goes the way of the Wildcats. They defer, and they will kick it off. And Kyler Meskey, a touchback, and here come the Trailblazers of Utah Tech, led by Bronson Barbin, their quarterback. And Jim, you see Bronson leading a Utah Tech team. Yeah, they're 2-7, but if you look at their 7 losses, only a couple really got out of hand. The others were right there to be won.
Yeah, they were right there to be won, and they played well. Didn't score enough, but they have a really good running game, and their quarterback leads them in trying to be balanced, and the key for them is to run the ball first and to do play action off of that run.
And Barbin is a threat to run as well. A kid from St. George, Dixie High School there. It's a quick throw and through the hands of Daniel Thomason, their leading receiver. That had a chance to be big. And so that's good coaching, isn't it? They know that ASU's expecting run, and so they come out.
It's a great call. It really is a great call.
It just wasn't quite executed. So 2nd down and 10 for the Blazers. Last time these two teams might meet, at least for a while, as they head to the Big Sky, and Abilene Christian will stay in the UAC. Again, play action, and again, Thomason can't bring it in. He caught a huge 4th down play in overtime to keep the game alive that they ultimately won, but here's another look.
Obviously, their Utah Tech's plan is to do play action early in 1st and 2nd down and had 2 guys open. The drag was wide open and 2 drops.
Thomason with 2 dropped balls that could have gone for 1st downs, and that first one might have gone
a long way
for even more. All right, so they've run it. They've faked the run a couple times. Chapman stays in. He's the freshman of the week in the UAC. And here is another drop, 3, and that was Jaquio Mitchell. So 3 balls on the money from Barbin. They come up empty, 3 strikes, and they're out. Here comes the punt team.
I think Barbin's thinking he doesn't know where his real teammates are, because he's had 3 balls perfectly, and all of his teammates have dropped them.
And so that's going to go as a 3 and out, but I think ACU's head coach Keith Patterson, the defensive coordinator as well, and co-defensive coordinator Nick Holt are going to be thinking, okay,
we're fortunate.
We've got a little bit to work on here. And here is the punt team for Utah Tech. Ryan Marks and Tyson Williams says get away from it as it goes sideways. It's going to go out of bounds at about the 42-yard line of Abilene Christian. 33-yard punt with no return. And here comes Stone Earl. He leads the conference in completion percentage. Coach, you see there, 2,000 yards passing, and he's got those 16 touchdowns.
Yeah, usually the offense for ACU is a pretty simple theme. As Stone Earl goes, so goes the offense. He leads their passing game, of course, but he's very vital to their running game as well. So it all starts with Stone Earl.
So senior day for 31 seniors on this Wildcat roster, 19 of them recognized for their longevity here. Play action, Earl over the middle, and that one's deflected. We may be here a while, Coach. We've played 30 seconds and run 5 plays with 4 incompletions.
4 incomplete passes. Not a good sign.
And Earl and these Wildcats have been exceptional here at home. Daisy mentioned trying to go 5-0. It would be the first time for the program to go 5-0 at home since 1978. Another throw, and this one is caught, and that's Javon Gibson, one of those seniors. He's got about 7 near midfield, brings up a 3rd down and short.
Yeah, nice job by Javon Gibson. Just about an 8-yard quick out, and Stone Earl hit him on time.
Baylor transfer, 2nd year with the Wildcats. And let's see if we get our first run of the game or if they put it in the air again. They got to get to the 48 of Utah Tech. And they go with a little jet sweep. It's Radrian Baltrup and won't get it. So they finally, that's not even technically a run. It's counts as a pass. 3 and out. Well, hang on. Yeah, here comes Hugo Nash and the punt team for Abilene Christian.
Cornerback Devin Perkins, there was an attempt to block him, but caught him in the backfield 3 yards deep. Just a super play by a cornerback.
A cornerback who's playing his 35th start as a collegiate player. 5 career picks for Devin Perkins and a big stop there. Nash, and that one's going to be let go, and it's going to take an ACU bounce. Too good of one as it rolls out to the 13, 13-yard line. So that is a 39-yard punt with no return, and Utah Tech, after each team has the punt, will be back on offense in a moment. Back here in Abilene, Texas, and a tribute to Chuck Sitton, former Wildcat great who passed away way too soon. And we're up here in the Chuck Sitton Tower. And take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Blaze a trail. They need to run the ball. We thought they needed to run the ball, Jim.
What did we know?
Yeah.
And part of it is they need to let it rip. They got to play freely because there's nothing to play for in terms of conference. So that's important for Utah Tech to do that. ACU's got to pound the rock, and they have to do that by being mentally tough and to not allow senior day to distract them.
All right, so here we go on 1st and 10. Another, well, design throw, but it's Barbin who may have the first. He's going to be a half-yard shy. Barbin picks up 8.5, maybe 9. And a 2nd down and short coming up.
Yeah, ACU does a good job of pass coverage. One of the things that hurts them is when they only rush 3, they do not get a pass rush, usually.
Each team has had a possession. Each team had to punt after 3 plays. Handoff up the middle, and there's our first down of the game. Out to the 26-yard line. And the Blazers will get a fresh set, 1st and 10. And that was Asa Chapman, last week's freshman of the week. Played 4 games last year for the Blazers, but the rule changes and eligibility changes. You play 4 games max, and you can count that as a redshirt year. And he's been terrific this season. Got his first 100-yard game of the season last week. He's also a threat out of the backfield. There's Tyson Williams in coverage for ACU, but he can't deny Thomason a 6-yard gain. Take a look at the starting offense. Bronson Barbin, Asa Chapman, Josh Rillos had a big game last week, and Thomason had the big catch in overtime. Eric Olson leads all tight ends in catches in Division I FCS. And Nolan Reynolds and Bryce Crowley on that offensive line. Coach Lance Anderson said they've really been our emotional leaders. Here's a handoff running left for a couple. And just shy of the line to gain. And that was Maxwell Turner. 3rd and short.
Yeah, first big defensive play for Abilene Christian. 3rd down and about 2 feet.
Utah Tech winless against Abilene Christian in 3 games. They just went, well, they didn't have football as a 4-year school until 2006 and went Division I back in 2020. 3rd and short. And it's a run and very close. I mean, really, really close. I think it's 4th down.
I think
Well, the line
top,
judge says move the chains, and they will.
He did that really quickly. I guess he knew.
Chris Street got just enough. I think Keith Patterson might have wanted a measurement, but it is a 1st and 10. So after each team got a mulligan on their first offensive possession. Not the prettiest for each, but now here's Utah Tech. Play action, Barbin down the middle, up in the air, and a little too high for his tight end Eric Olson down the seam.
Yeah, nice play action fake and had Olson wide open going down the hash mark. Just a bad throw.
Take a look at the replay here. Barbin was on the money early and his receivers dropped it each time, but that time he was a little too high, even for Olson at 6'5". Barbin missed a couple of games midway through the season. Back and healthy now. And sprint out. And is this another drop? I think he held on at the last second. Gain of 8. And that was True Tanner. Brings up a 3rd and 2.
Yeah,
a lot
interesting
of cushion.
route. Sorry, he just ran straight to the sideline about 2 yards down the field, and nobody followed him. So I had a cushion, maybe too big of a cushion.
All right, 3rd down and 2. Last year they played out in St. George. Abilene Christian won 55-30. It was only a 27-16 lead at halftime. Here, 5 minutes and change gone by. Handoff to Street, and he is stood up by Kagan Roach, one of the seniors, and it's 4th down and a couple coming up. Let's see what Lance Anderson does here. Here comes the punt team. Another look. That's Roach.
Yeah, the sign of a great tackle is if there's no forward progress once he gets hit and just drove him back. Great tackle.
Utah Tech player
So we'll
number
see
15
if there's any kind of
number 68.
chicanery here on 4th and short. And Marks out to punt it away for a second time. And he does boot it away. That's a beauty. Second best punter in the conference, and Tyson Williams makes the fair catch at the 10. Okay, that is a 45-yard punt with no return. Couple of first downs and then a punt for the Blazers. Abilene Christian gets it for a second time when we come back. No score early on. Final home game of the season for Abilene Christian. Beautiful day in Abilene. It's warmer today than it was on opening day back in September. Go figure. ASU starting offense brought to you by LMB Real Estate. Stone Earl is the 6th-year senior. Jordan Vaughn played sparingly last week. Coach, he got dinged up against Southern Utah. He'd already gained 100 yards at halftime, or early in the third quarter, but didn't play the rest of the game and barely played last week. And somehow ASU didn't miss him. They ran for 233 yards.
Yeah, they got 5 really good running backs, which is really unusual.
Banks is the tailback as the Wildcats start at their own 10. Utah Tech shows blitz. It's a give to Rovan Banks. Makes one man miss, makes 2, and he's got a little blocker out there. And Stone Earl to the 30, 35. And a big hitter for Rovan Banks from Tulsa. A gain of 22. Make it 27.
Maybe the best cutback ACU's had on a zone, inside zone. Rovan cut all the way back behind the cornerback.
First down of the game for ACU. Stone Earl wants to go deep, and he airmails his intended receiver, J.J. Henry. So 3 passes and a punt on the first possession and a 27-yarder from Banks. Another look here at this one. Just a little too high. Good coverage as well. Probably maybe not the worst thing for Abilene Christian that it was a little high.
No, it was safety, or that outside linebacker had a better chance to catch it.
Single coverage on the near side. Out of your screen almost, Javon Gibson. Second down and 10 from their own 37. Another quick hitter, and that is J.B. Mitchell for about 5. They'll give him the 42-yard line to 3rd down and 5 coming up. Sure tackle out there.
Yeah, JB is wanting to talk to his quarterback. Could have really thrown it too high and been the scene for a really bad hit, but fortunately caught the ball.
So Stone has been true on 3 of his 5 passes, none particularly big. So 3rd down and 5. In motion goes J.J. Henry. Earl's going to throw it again, and again, same route. And did JB hang on? No. Well, he caught it, but they say he was out of bounds when he did. So 4th and 5, and here comes the punt team for ACU. One more look.
Rolling on the field. It's an incomplete pass. It's 4th down.
Every play, of course, is reviewable in college football. So if Greg Kerner, the replay official, thinks there's reason to review it, he'll buzz down to the field. But ASU gets a 27-yard gain, but they throw it the next 3 times, and they're going to have to punt it away. And now Nash goes end over end, and Jaquio Mitchell calls for the fair catch. Each team's had it a couple of times, each with a 1st down. And Utah Tech with the ball back.
Welcome back. We want to take a look on this drive at Rashawn Miles Jr., a junior linebacker. He earned the United Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Week after his performance last week against Tarleton. He had 13 tackles in one game, and he leads the Wildcats in tackles this year at 82. And counting in this game against Utah Tech. Guys, back up to you.
Okay, 2nd time that Rashawn Miles Jr. has been the Defensive Player of the Week. Rashawn Miles Sr. was there to watch him last week against Tarleton State. You coached Rashawn Miles Sr.
I did. Saw him last week, and his son, Rashawn Miles Jr., looks just like him.
Here is a handoff, and not much for Asa Chapman. And it's a gain of about 1 yard. Each team's had the ball twice. Here we are halfway through the 1st half, and it's the 5th possession of the game. 3 for Utah Tech and 2 for AC. That'll happen when you're throwing in completions.
Yeah, good defense, but probably more inept offense on both sides.
Bronson Barbin's had his receivers drop 3 of his balls. He's also been off target a couple of times. Barbin in the gun. He's a threat to run as well. 2nd down at about 9. Little pitch. This is Chapman out on the edge. And he's got about 5, maybe 4. They'll give him the 21, so call it 3rd down and 4. Little option look.
Yeah, great call, great play from about 20 years ago. Just a speed option and got some yardage.
Utah Tech averages just 18 points per game. That's last in the conference. ACU second in the league in points allowed at 25 a game. It's one of the numbers that makes you think this is a mismatch, but as we've seen already, this is a game you play on turf, not paper, and there's a conversion on 3rd down. Out to the 29-yard line of 1st and 10. Take a look at the starting defense. For Abilene Christian, Romario Noel at the safety spot. Dorian Plumley is one of those veterans for Coach Patterson, and there's Rashawn Miles Jr., the starting linebacker with Will Schaefer, the preseason defensive player of the year. 1st and 10 from their 29. So a couple of times now they've worked their way out of shadow of their goal line. Barbin's looking to throw here. Time to throw. Lobs it a little too long for his intended receiver, Bretton Stone, who came out of the backfield. And credit Will Schaefer for defending the wheel route here.
Yeah, great job by Will catching it early. Wheel route looked open. Will caught up with a good angle and good speed.
And you can see Stone there, just no chance to catch that one. Part of that was because Schaefer was right there with him. Empty backfield for the first time, and this is Reggie Graff. He's the left-handed quarterback. See him a few snaps a game, and he's going to tuck it and run. And he's going to have about 5 or 6 out to the 35-yard line. A late flag comes in, and we'll see what that's about. Keith Patterson was happy, as we take another look here, he was happy last week that there were no flags thrown against his team.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 93, 15-yard penalty.
They get Chris hurt
1st down.
For a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, I saw him kind of lay or got tripped into the ball carrier and did kind of hit him late, and they called that personal foul.
All right, so there were no flags thrown against ACU in the first 3 quarters last week. There were some big ones in the 4th that were part of Tarleton State's comeback. But there's Herpin, who's going to have a seat. And Utah Tech with its best opportunity here, now out at midfield with a 1st and 10. They would have had 3rd down at about 4. Instead, the 15-yard penalty gives them now possession into ACU territory at the 46, a gain of 4 for Chapman.
Yeah, got 4. Looked like he was going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage. Great job by Chapman cutting behind on that inside zone.
Lance Anderson in his 2nd season at Utah Tech. Coach, when you see late in the year a team that's 1-7, as you look at the ACU sideline, a team that's 1-7 win an overtime game, on some level that tells you they're still bought into what Lance is selling.
Yeah, they are. And he's a good motivator and a hard worker, probably has the trust of his team.
Now looking for maybe their biggest win since going D1. Play action, out into the flat, caught, and then immediately dropped. That's Rashawn Miles Jr. out there stopping Caden Eggett shy of the 1st, so 3rd and 3 coming up. So right after Daisy talks about Rashawn, there he is.
He's kind of all over the field from sideline to sideline. Does a really good job of tackling and not letting anybody get away.
Rashawn Miles Jr. leads the nation in fumble recoveries with 4. 3 of them came in 1/2 against Austin Peay. 3rd down and 3, maybe 4-down territory. Did Utah Tech jump? They did.
They did.
False start. Offense, number 60, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
3rd down and 8.
Boy, coaches know there's a huge difference. 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 8 totally changes your playlist.
All right, so you do kind of wonder if this might be 4-down territory for Utah Tech. Now, Alex Bowman is hustling number 9 there back onto the field. Is he on or is he off? And ACU's going to have to burn a timeout. Coach, this has been an issue with ACU the last few games. substitutions, getting guys on and off the field.
Charge
Yeah,
timeout.
it looked like to me
Abilene
that
Christian,
time one
their
of the
first.
defensive
It's a
coaches
30-second timeout.
gave him a mixed signal and wanted him to stay on, then told him to come off, and had to burn a timeout.
So 3:39 to go in the first quarter. And there's Keith Patterson, head coach and also co-defensive coordinator. Nick Holt, you see there next to him. All right, there's the Utah Tech team trying to pick up this third down. Take a look at our impact players in the game. Olsen, as we mentioned, leads the nation in catches by a tight end. And Daniel Thomason, whom you see there, is already had a couple of drops. Cortland Rousseau for Abilene Christian. He had a blocked field goal last week, and there's Rashawn Miles as well. All right, 3rd down and 8 after the false start by Utah Tech and kind of ACU's own version of a false start. They couldn't get their defense set, so they call a timeout. And this is Barbin. Pressure coming. Hit as he throws. And that was Fanua who got in there on him. Zion Fanua brings up 4th and 8.
Yeah, one of the few times ACU blitzes and brought 6, and 2 of them did not get picked up and made that quarterback rush.
All right, so they will send on Marks, and the punt
Utah
team,
Tech player
Tyson
number
Williams
50
retreats
is now number
for ACU.
68.
Not a lot to cheer about for those ACU pep squads down there on the sidelines. There's Tyson Williams, junior from Bixby, Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I think both teams are kind of struggling with the mediocre phase and trying to get their offenses untracked.
And Marks will try to pin the Wildcats deep. This one is going to come straight down by the point of the ball, and it's a race to the end zone, and that is beautifully done. And Utah Tech, thanks to Ryan Marks, will pin ACU deep here in the final 3 minutes and change of the first quarter. So we've seen from Abilene Christian already one run. They got 27 yards out of it, but then 6 passes in addition to the run. It would certainly look like they're trying to get Stone Earl into a rhythm.
Well, I think they are. They saw something on the game plan during the week that they thought they could attack, and they don't need to forget that the run has been successful. So offensive coordinators obviously change their mind as they go. So I think they need to think through this.
1st and 10 from the 1. Play action. Pass caught and then dropped. Radrian Baltrop. That's a positive gain on first for 7.
Even though it was a pass, good first down, good catch.
It's the longest completion early on here for Stone Earl. Credit Justin Houston, by the way, for Utah Tech for downing that ball at the 1-yard line. It's a give to E.J. Wilson. They stretch it out, tries to get to the edge. He will, and cuts it upfield, and that is, well, there comes a flag at the last moment. He got out to the 24-yard line, but some of this is coming back, it would appear.
Yeah, just ran the stretch. Really good blocking from the tight end and 2 receivers. Maybe there was a hold.
Brandon McCain, our referee.
During the run, holding, offense, number 88. That penalty is half the distance to the goal line. 2nd down.
All right, so it is Jed Castles, the tight end, out there on the edge. See if we can see it here. Jed 88 out there, there he is, and probably a good call.
Yeah, anytime you get those hands extended, you're going to get called, it seems like.
Okay, so the net result is a 2nd down and 3. A give to Wilson, and leans forward, very close, and they say move the chains. That extra effort from EJ gave him a 1st and 10.
Yeah, we got hurry up.
I don't think they wanted a review of that. It's again a handoff to E.J. Wilson, and he'll have about 4. Coach, last week, the Temple transfer, E.J. Wilson, native of Tampa, Florida, became the 3rd ACU running back to go for at least 100 yards in a game.
Yeah, that's impressive, and he did that 4-yard gain totally on his own.
Which means at some point, you've got to give credit to that offensive line.
Yeah.
For if 3 guys have at least 100 yards, you've either got
Absolutely.
3 special tailbacks or 5 great offensive linemen or some
both.
combination
Right.
of the two. Earl wants to throw on 1st and 10. Goes near sideline, and did he hang on? He did, but he didn't stay in bounds. Javon Gibson. And now 2nd and 10 coming up. The second sideline play that they just can't quite convert as you look at the starting defense here for Utah Tech. Brevin Chesnicka, coach. Brevin Chesnicka is not playing in this game. That's a late scratch. So that's on the back end something for Utah Tech to deal with. 2nd and 10 for Stone Earl. Beg your pardon, it's 3rd down and 6 after the incompletion. Banks back in at tailback. ASU great converting 3rd downs. Utah Tech not great at stopping. And there is, right on cue, J.J. Henry converting for a gain of about 8, maybe 9. It's a 1st and 10.
Yeah, J.J. from the slot running a 8-10-yard in, and probably Stone Earl's best throw of the game.
Out to the 25-yard line, and it does move the change. Remember, this is a drive that began on the 1. Utah Tech is toward the bottom in the nation in 3rd down stops. Couldn't get one there. Earl wants to throw again. Running back picks up the blitzer, frees up J.B. Mitchell, and there goes J.B. It's a foot race inside the 35-yard line. Biggest play of the game for either team. It's a 40-yard gain, and Rovon Banks began it by picking up the blitzer.
Yeah, he did, and JB's running a 10-yard square in, just a super route, and didn't get touched for about 30 yards.
A great look there. Here's another look at it. You see Banks running from left of Stone Earl over to the right to pick up the blitzer. And so that'll go down as J.B. Mitchell and Stone Earl in the stat sheet. But the coaches
Amen.
will know. And you as a quarterback know it, and you love it.
You feel it.
All right, this is a give to Adrian Baltrop. And that didn't go well. Great stop by Utah Tech, all over it. Loss of about a half yard, 2nd and long.
Yeah, just an unusual way to run the sweep coming from a slot, and really good job by the defensive end.
And that is the big fella, Fasatotai Sagapolu, and he goes by Marley.
That is the end.
And that's the end of the first quarter. Each team a bit of their own worst enemy at times, but Abilene Christian now on the move after this big pass play from Stone Earl to J.B. Mitchell. Willie the Wildcat. He's chatting everybody up. Now he's everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's Willie. Wearing number 1. So he's the third guy wearing number 1. J.J. Henry on offense for Abilene Christian. Will Schaefer on the defensive side. So Willie trying to get the fans fired up. Utah Tech and Lance Anderson trying to pick up a huge road victory. 2-7 this year, but as we said, 5 of those 7 losses. They were right there late, and here they are deadlocked with a team that, with the victory today, will even up in wins and losses with Tarleton State, which has the week off. And the Wildcats in the midst of a big drive that began on their own 1-yard line. Stone Earl on 2nd and 10 gives. It's Wilson trying to cut it outside, now back up, and as a flag comes in after a gain of 4. And this could be the 3rd penalty against ACU, and it is.
Offense, number 77, 10-yard penalty.
Ran the stretch in the front 7. Probably the reason we held, did a good job of stringing everything out. No hold, nowhere to turn up, and got caught holding.
All right, so 3 flags thrown against the Wildcats. 1 of them on defense and a couple on offense. 2 of them now on this drive, which they've been able to overcome. But now, 2nd down and 20 from the 44. The wind is into the Wildcats here as they move north. Jed Castles goes in motion. Earl goes screen. He's got Baldrup, and really, really well defended by Utah Tech. And it brings up a 3rd down and long.
Yeah, it looked like the quick screen to Baldrup was set up, and one of those linebackers, boy, that we missed the block. ACU missed a good opportunity on that quick screen that was there.
Hilamano Fanagoe with the stop out there on Baldrup. 3rd down, call it 17. They don't have to get all of it to put Brandon Perez in field goal range, but they need some here. 3-man rush. Earl, with flags flying, dumps it off, and I would imagine you'll see Lance Anderson deny these or decline these penalties. Don't know. It's at the 35, so you have a chance to move him back across the midfield stripe.
Maybe decline.
Holding, offense, number 62. That penalty is declined.
They are.
Fourth
So
down.
it's, you go 52-yard field goal attempt into the wind, or you go for it or you punt if you're Keith Patterson. He leaves the offense in there for the moment. But now here comes the punt team and a drive that really was amplified by a 40-yard completion to J.B. Mitchell. Is going to stall in part because of Abilene Christian's holding penalties. So Hugo Nash will try to pin the Blazers deep. Straight up into the air, end over end. Jaquio Mitchell lets it bounce, and it will again take an ACU bounce at about the 10-yard line. D'Angelo Ponder was there to stop it at the 10. No score between Abilene Christian and Utah Tech from Abilene. We're back in a moment. greetings from Abilene indeed. Glad to have you with us. Grant Boone, Jim Reese, Daisy Strine, our entire team. Abilene Christian last week, emotional victory over Tarleton State, handing the number 2 ranked Texans their first loss of the season. Today, Jim, a little uninspired, it looks like to the naked eye.
It does look like, and statistically they are uninspired and fortunate to actually not be behind.
They have outgained Utah Tech 2-1, 119-60, but multiple penalties, one on each side of the ball. And now Utah Tech gets it back. Early second quarter, no score. Bronson Barbin dumps it off. Chapman, second leading receiver, has got about 6. Mark him out at the 16. The bright spot for Abilene Christian offensively on the last possession, they did flip the field. They began that last drive at their own 1, and they put Utah Tech at their own 10.
Yeah, that's about the only thing they're winning in terms of strategy, but flipping the field is a nice one. It's important.
Second down, and call it 4. That's Josh Rillos who goes out there. There's a deflection, intercepted. Zion Fanua, biggest play. Fanua to the house, touchdown ACU. That is inspired.
And he did it all by himself, knocked it down, caught it, ran all by himself.
And so Fanua, against the team that plays its home games at Greater Zion Stadium, proves to be the Greater Zion.
He did that, just an outstanding play. One of the plays of the year for Abilene Christian.
The Glorious Summit, you might call it, for Zion.
I love that. It would make a good song.
And ASU scores on defense for its first points of the game. And now Brandon Perez kicking the same direction as he did last week. This an extra point. He had the walk-off 47-yarder to beat Tarleton State last week. And this one is perfect. Well, here you go. One more time. Bronson Barbin. Pressure came from Rashawn Miles. Fanua got his hands on it. One hand, then 2, and then 6.
That's appropriate pressure from Rashawn.
And Wildcat Stadium now a little more fired up here after the home team scores on defense. And Coach, you can look at this again. It starts with Rashawn Miles Jr.
Number 68.
Yeah, great pressure, and then the rest, boy, just a great individual play by one of our defensive linemen.
Yeah, Zion Fanua, who's really come on, starting at about the 4th game of the season, he has been an impact havoc wreaker for Abilene Christian, and that's the first pick 6 for the Wildcat defense since Kirby Kohili did it at Kyle Field a couple of years ago, giving ACU a 7-0 lead on the Aggies. And this kickoff from Kyler Meskey is a knuckler that is ultimately going to drift out of the back of the end zone. So Barbin, again, that's going to go against his ledger as an interception, but at some point you tip your cap to Zion Fanua.
Yeah, you tip your cap, and probably statistically and score-wise is misleading because ACU's offense basically has not done much, and the turnovers tend to win games.
And this is a Utah Tech team that is almost at the very bottom of the FCS in turnover margin. They're now -6 after that pick 6 from ACU. So now Barbin brings his team back out to the 25, 1st and 10. And it's a give, and this is Chapman, who's got a really nice first down gain of 7.
Just ran a zone, and great individual effort, not really good tackling by 2 defensive linemen and a linebacker from ACU.
Barbin played right there in St. George. He's a St. George kid. St. George is in that southwest part of the state of Utah, not too far from Vegas. And he went to Dixie High School, did an LDS mission for a couple of years, and no gain there on 2nd down and short. And Chapman tripped up, so 3rd and short coming up.
Yeah, I think he got tripped up based on the mannerisms by one of our front 3. I believe that was Kagan Roach.
All right, so 3rd down and 3. Utah Tech is 2 for 5 so far in 3rd down conversions. Barbin wants to throw wide open, unaccounted for. Asa Chapman, he'd be a good one to account for. He's their leader in rushing, their 2nd leading receiver, and he gives the Blazers a 1st and 10 at midfield.
Yeah, back out of the backfield, nobody covered. Big mistake, great job by Utah Tech.
So Chapman, who's got 143 yards receiving and 450 rushing. Play action. Barbin dumps it off again. This is Olsen, the tight end, and another really good 1st down gain of about 8 to ACU's 43-yard line.
Yeah, just bootleg is becoming one of their better plays because all front 6 are taking the fake for Abilene Christian on defense.
They'll give him officially 7 yards. And so the Blazers trying to answer after ACU's pick 6. 2nd down and 3. And this time Barbin's going to throw one low. And did they say catch? I think they did.
Looked like it might have skipped, but let's see.
It's ruled a catch and a 1st down to the ACU 39-yard line. One more look here. It's Daniel Thomason. Remember, he dropped the first 2 throws of the game, ones that were right in his hands. Unable to bring that one down. Did bring that one in after dropping those first couple. 1st and 10 at the 39. Play action, wide open and through the hands of Eggett. It would have been a touchdown. Caden Eggett, tight end right down the middle. It's a little high.
A little high, but could have, should have been an easy touchdown. Linebackers, inside backers for ACU are not handling play action at all, and been out of position for the last several play action passes.
Utah Tech has 102 yards of offense, and if they simply made plays that were there to be made,
Absolutely.
catches or throws on target, this could be big trouble for Abilene Christian. False start for Utah Tech.
Offense, number 51, 5-yard penalty.
Second pre-snap penalty on the Blazers. So 2nd and 15. And again, what you see in scheme and in talent, you may see also in execution to explain why they're in these games, Utah Tech, but also 2 and 7.
Right.
Because clearly they are scheming things open. This is Eggett, makes one man miss, and squeezes through for a gain of about 7, which brings up at least a manageable 3rd down at about 8.
Yeah, big 3rd down for Utah Tech. Have a chance to continue their drive and probably thinking go for it on 4th down.
Got to get to the 29 of Abilene Christian. 7-0 ACU. A pick 6 from Zion Fanua after the Wildcats had flipped the field the previous possession. Barbin in this game, 9 of 17 for 67 yards and that pick, which became a touchdown. They're going to go option again, and Barbin's going to keep it, and Barbin's going to have the 1st down, breaks a tackle to the outside, lowers the shoulder on Noah Mangum of Abilene Christian, and picks up 22 yards and gives the Blazers a 1st and 10.
Just the old speed option, and nobody took the quarterback for Abilene Christian. Great run.
That's the 2nd time they've run that play, and that's the biggest play of the game for Utah Tech on the ground. This is a drive that began at their own 25. Chapman had the big catch out of the backfield. They go with a handoff, and this is running right. Eric Olson, the tight end, and he'll have another good. They're getting a lot of positive gains on 1st down.
Yeah, they're getting the corner on getting around that defensive end. Just a jet sweep. Nobody's out there. Great execution.
Yeah, running the sweep with the tight end.
Yeah.
And Eric Olson, who's been so reliable all season long, sets up the Blazers. 2nd down and short. 1st down would come at the 5-yard line. ACU's offense is yet to score. Utah Tech trying to get into the end zone for the 1st time. Barbin with a handoff. Chapman's into the end zone. Touchdown. And just like that, the Blazers are back. 5th rushing touchdown of the season for Asa Chapman. He caught it down to the backfield for a big gainer and punches it in for 6 more.
Yeah, one of the best drives all year for Utah Tech, and puts them back in the game. And without a turnover, they would be ahead.
An extra point coming from Ilya Uvedov. And this to tie it up at 7. And as he's done all year, flawless defensive touchdown for ACU. Offensive score for Utah Tech. Tied at 7, 2nd quarter. 7 apiece. UAC football on ESPN+. Utah Tech goes 75 yards, and ASU head coach Keith Patterson, the co-defensive coordinator, not happy with what he's seen so far, Jim.
No, they're not, and that's putting it mildly. We're giving them a compliment, I think, execution-wise and intensity-wise for ASU defense. Not much there.
One big play for Abilene Christian on offense. That was a 40-yard completion from Stone Earl to J.B. Mitchell, but then the drive bogged down with a couple of holding penalties. And then defensively, Abilene Christian has the pick 6 from Zion Fanua. That was a 75-yard touchdown drive by Utah Tech. They did it on the ground and through the air. And here's a kickoff and a returnable kick from Radrian Baltrop, and he's going to bring it back. Bounces to the outside, and that's a good run back with no flags out to the 33-yard line. So take another look here. They ran this option, Coach, and this was a big play from Bronson Barbin.
Yeah, and he kind of ran over one of our linebackers or cornerbacks for Abilene Christian.
And then Asa Chapman, after a little end around from Olson, the tight end. This is Chapman bringing it in. And so now it's time for the Abilene Christian offense to see if they can do some of the good work that they did on the previous drive, which began at the 1-yard line. And it's Stone Earl running the show. And he's going to give it. And this is Rovan Banks breaking 1 tackle, and that is a nice gain of 9 for Rovan. Brings up 2nd and short.
Yeah, if you're ACU, you're wanting more of the same, just an inside zone, nice blocking.
So for Banks, 3 carries, make it 2 carries for 36 yards. Pretty good average. And it's another give this time. Lowers the shoulder, and more flags coming in.
Holding, offense, number
That's
75.
the
10-yard penalty.
holding call
Second
against
out.
ACU. So that wipes out the first down gain. So Banks, first down carry, erased. And it brings ASU back behind the chains now, 2nd down and 11. Penalties always a concern for any coach, but that's 4 for 42 now for ACU. Earl wants to throw it. In route, caught. Gibson's got about 8. To the 40, brings up 3rd and 3 as we take a look at some impact players here. When ACU has the ball, Dallas Dudley, rangy wide receiver like Javon Gibson. And we talked about Devin Perkins. He made that play on 3rd down on ASU's first possession.
Officials timeout.
When the Wildcats tried a
for
little jet
defensive
sweep.
injury.
Yeah, really athletic quarterback.
And we
Defensive
have a
back, excuse me.
player down. Dallin Havea, the other impact player. He's got 4.5 tackles for a loss and 4 sacks this year. 3rd down at about 3 coming up. Moon Ashby, the injured Blazer, walking off the field under his own power, which is good to see. As you take a look at the ASU offensive line, they've been a bit beleaguered here with some offensive penalties. And now 3rd down and 3. We mentioned it earlier. Utah Tech toward the bottom in the FCS in terms of 3rd down conversions defensively. They allow 46% conversions. And ASU one of the best in converting. Earl to Dudley, impact player, makes an impact. No flags, and it's a 1st down.
Yeah, another slant, and safety linebacker went with the back that was flaring. Nice throw by Stone Earl.
Son of Ricky Dudley, former Ohio State star and NFL player for a decade or so. And Dallas Dudley in his first season with the Wildcats. Down there toward the bottom of your screen. 1st and 10 for ACU in a tie game. Play action. Earl dumps it off. He's got E.J. Wilson for a few. Not much more than that. Spot the ball at midfield. Gain of 3 2nd down and 7. For ACU, as we said, everything to play for these next 3 weeks. And Keith Patterson said to us yesterday, he said it's like when you're, and this is a horse rider from Oklahoma, Keith Patterson now. He says that horse begins to get a little extra giddy up when he can see the barn in the distance. We can see the barn. Get to the end of the season with wins, and you're headed back to the playoffs. Quick pass out there to Radrian Baldrup, and he is going to break enough of a tackle to get the line to gain, and another 1st down for ACU.
Great individual effort on the quick screen, good block in front to take care of that cornerback. 1st down.
Jeremiah Jamo defending, but not before Baldrup, who had his vision checked early in the season, realized he desperately needed corrective lenses, and it's made a big difference in Radrian for the rest of this season. 1st and 10, handoff, and it's Banks for about 4. 2nd down and 6. And ACU's going to get the ball to start the second half. You got 4:40 to go here, and or just a little under that in the second quarter.
If you're ACU, you need to get points, preferably a touchdown, and with getting the ball to begin the third quarter, it becomes large.
So they gave him officially 3. Ball spotted at the 38-yard line of Utah Tech. Abilene Christian trying to answer the offensive touchdown drive by the Blazers. And out in the flat, Hut Graham, the intended target, and he was smothered. And Stone Earl may have thrown that one wide on purpose when he saw his hot receiver covered.
Yeah, I think that was intentional, a good decision by Stone. Otherwise, could have been intercepted.
River Moore was right there and not fooled. So here's Earl, 12 of 17 for 106 yards. Maybe 4-down territory, who knows? 4-man rush for the Blazers. Earl down the middle, too high for Graham. And 4th down and 7, and here comes the punt team, and a decision perhaps that would indicate that Keith Patterson believes in his defense. Try to pin Utah Tech deep, or maybe just feeling like the offense doesn't have enough of a rhythm to go for
I think
it.
it's as much of that. Probably Stone Earl's worst pass of this game.
Graham was open, middle of the field. And so Nash has done a good job on a couple of occasions, dropping one in there inside the 15. This is another end over end. D'Angelo Ponder is back there. Oh, that's a beauty. Yeah, Nash with Ponder, who had a Hail Mary interception last week against Victor Gabalis of Tarleton State. He's there to catch that one. And so Keith Patterson will trust his defense to get a stop with Utah Tech back near their own goal line. But that was an important drive for the Blazers. They go 75 yards the last time they had it to tie the game.
Yeah, just very impressive, efficient on the running game. Offensive line controlled. Good decision by their quarterbacks.
I think they had Chapman, remember, wide open on that little screen play that went for 28 yards. It's a give to, no, it's a throw, and it's intercepted. It's Dorian Plumlee. Is it another pick six? It is. Twice, ACU takes it home on the defensive end, and the Wildcats have regained the lead.
Well, I guess if you can't score on offense, the defense takes over and decides they're going to have to score all the points. And maybe the best interception of the year, read the quarterback's eyes, the slot receiver running a slant.
Dorian Plumlee, the senior, 4th year at ACU. Athletic play. And then takes it all the way in for the score. Now Brandon Perez for the extra point. Justin Duff, a senior, the snapper. Hugo Nash, the punter, is the holder. And ACU, the defense doesn't rest. Right after they give up the 75-yard drive, they get their second defensive touchdown of the half. First Zion Fanua, now Dorian Plumlee.
Just playing a linebacker, outside linebacker, had nobody to cover, dropping to zones and just read the quarterback's eyes all the way and was actually running the slant with that inside slot receiver.
Well, he's been used all over the defensive backfield in 4 years here, the native of El Reno, Oklahoma. He's a transfer from Oklahoma, University of, but has been a valuable, dependable starter. Dorian Plumlee, he was called for a defensive hold last week on a 4th and 11 against Tarleton State that upon review the coaches strongly disagreed with. And it kept Tarleton State's chances alive. And so on senior day, Dorian Plumlee comes through with just an enormous play on a day in which the offense for ASU has been unable to score. The defense has done it twice.
That could be a message to ASU's offense and could motivate them. They might get the ball back one more time, but in the third quarter, we'll see.
This is returnable, but Bretton Stone says, we'll go ahead and take it at the 25. So what do we say? It's been a couple of years since a pick six for Abilene Christian, but now two. Zion Fanua and then Dorian Plumlee. Well, the last time Utah Tech threw a pick six, they came back and went 75 yards, but now I'm just watching as Bronson Barbin comes out there. Reggie Graff, the quarterback, Reggie Graff is split out to the right. That's Reggie at the bottom of your screen. So watch for a potential double pass here. He's the left-handed quarterback, and Tyson Williams, I think, was pointing at him and said, wait, that's the quarterback, isn't it? So here we go. That's him in motion, and just a bit of a decoy. So sometimes you're doing that just to see if you can get the defense looking away, right?
It's good. It's a good thing.
Now he
They're
exits.
watching.
Graff exits, and second down and 7. Just something to perhaps foreshadow later in the game. 14-7. And I would say this becomes an interesting drive of some importance. If Utah Tech can answer, or can ASU get another stop? It's play action. Barbin on the run. Intended for Olsen, the tight end, chased by Chris Wright, and Will Schaefer was in coverage, and a 3rd down and 7 with the clock stopped.
Yeah, defense learned that bootleg to the back coming out of the backfield has been open 3 times, finally covered by that group of linebackers for ACU.
Yeah, now the ASU faithful with a little more to cheer about. 14-7, a couple of pick sixes, adding up to 14 with the Brandon Perez extra points. 3rd down and 7. Wheelos in motion. Wide open Olsen in the flat. Did he get the line to gain? I think he's a yard shy. Romario Noel knocked him out. It's 4th and 1 at the 34. You're 2 and 7 if you're Lance Anderson. What do you do here?
Well, they're going to punt, but you really had nothing to lose if you want to go for it.
It's pretty good one-on-one tackle
Great
from
tackle.
Noel.
Really good tackle.
Because Olsen, had he turned upfield, would have had the first down. They do send the punt team on. This punt may be an indication again from Lance Anderson now that he believes that they've got something cooking against this ASU offense. So punt it away and don't give them a short field. That's a spinning punt that gets a slight Utah Tech bounce. It'll go out of bounds at the 22. 44-yard punt with no return. And now, with 2:17 to play, there's a flag on the field. And it was 4th and inches. If that was offsides,
illegal motion.
no, illegal shift.
Kicking team, number 12.
Motion.
That 5-yard penalty is added to the dead ball spot. First down. Abilene Christian.
Okay.
You know, I think if you're ACU's offense or their coaches, you got to say this is the most important drive just to prove to yourself that you can move the ball down the field and be balanced and run the ball. Hadn't happened a lot.
Well, one of the stories of this first half is ACU's inability to convert third downs. As we mentioned, they're one of the best in the nation, 7th in the nation at converting third downs, 50%. But today, just 2 of 6. And you credit Utah Tech for a game plan that has largely kept the Wildcats in check. There have been a couple of big plays. The 40-yard completion to J.B. Mitchell, the 27-yard Ravon Banks run. See what happens here. You tack on the 5 yards from the penalty. 2:17 with 2 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout. Earl goes play action. Dumps it off wide open. Javon Gibson has a big gainer out to the 45-yard line, gain of 18. And the clock will run down to the 2-minute timeout. Good start to this drive.
Good start. Good call. Bootleg. Stone Earl's best throw. Found his third receiver on the drag.
It's a 2-minute timeout.
All right, timeout on the field. The 2-minute timeout. Abilene Christian with a couple of defensive scores. And the ball back on offense. Final home game of the season for Abilene Christian. 2 road games left. If they win all 3, then Abilene Christian will win at least a share of the UAC. They have the tiebreaker with Tarleton State, and that would send them back to the FCS playoffs for the 2nd straight year. And the final home game, it's all the laurels for the seniors, and one of them, Dorian Plumley, has already come up with a huge play, a pick 6, the 2nd of the game for Abilene Christian. Now the offense is trying to do its part. They got a big gain on 1st and 10 of 18 yards to Javon Gibson. And now 1st and 10 with 2 minutes to go. Trying to score before the half. It's a give to Ravon Banks. And well defended by Utah Tech into a wall after a gain of 1. And time becomes of the essence here. Playing with some tempo, 2nd down and 9. Banks stays in there. It's his shortest gain of the first half. 4-man rush. Earl steps up in the pocket. He's going to run it, and he's going to go down after a couple. 3rd and 7 coming up.
Good job of coverage. Nobody open. Good decision by a quarterback not to throw it into coverage.
Isaiah Akinsanya with the stop. 3rd down and 7. Clock runs with 1:15 to go. ACU doesn't want to give Utah Tech any time if they can't convert. 3rd and 7. Earl with time dumps it off, caught by Banks, then dropped. And the ACU offense again comes up empty. And if not for the Wildcat defense, this ACU team, after the big victory, would have been shut out. You credit Utah Tech a lot, don't you, for what's happened today?
Yeah, amen. They're playing hard and more inspired, and ACU's offense really struggling to get untracked.
And Banks is kicking himself on the sidelines. Here comes Nash with the punt. It was a weird-looking one. It's got to be returnable. Jaquio Mitchell, and only about a yard before he swarmed. TJ Marshall, the senior, was in there. So back at the 17. ACU's got 2 timeouts, 54 seconds to go. And you wonder how each team chooses to play this. Blazers have all 3 of their timeouts. Clock will stop if you can get out of bounds, or if there's a first down, because we're inside the last couple of minutes. Sometimes you'll see a run on the first play like this, and if you get a little something, then you go.
Kind of feel it out and see. I think they're going to be conservative on offense, and ACU better pay attention.
Barbin has a couple of interceptions, both of which have been returned for a touchdown. He's going to keep this one, and he's going to have about, I'll call it about 4. Timeout taken by whom? I think Utah Tech called.
Charge timeout. Utah Tech. Their
Right,
first.
2nd and 6.
30-second
Interesting.
timeout.
Barbin had the 22-yard run on the sprint option.
You know, what's interesting, if Utah Tech does not gain any on 2nd down, then ACU could call it twice and make them punt.
2nd down and 6, 48 seconds to go. This is the biggest game of the day in the UAC, if only because Abilene Christian, with a victory, already tied in the loss column with Tarleton, would pull even in the win column as well at 5-1. Southern Utah and Eastern Kentucky are deadlocked at 17. That's where ACU is headed next week, Richmond, Kentucky. Josh Wheelos goes in motion. 2nd down and 6. Barbin wants to throw. Now pressure comes, and that's thrown to the sideline. And so now the clock stops with 41 seconds to go. 3rd and 6 coming up. And a chance for ACU to get the ball back with a few seconds left if they get a stop here.
Yeah, an interesting call, and throwing the ball away is understandable, but maybe running the ball up the field to keep the clock going.
Well, clearly Lance Anderson and company are trying to get something out of this possession. 3rd and 6. Let's see what they choose to do here. Christian Oku, freshman corner, is out there on the bottom. And here is a little pitch at the last moment and short of the line to gain. They run the option again, and Chapman is stopped. 4th down at about a yard. And the punt team comes on with 36 seconds to go. The clock will stay stopped because he went out of bounds.
Yeah, they run that speed option 3 or 4 times, and usually to some success.
Barbin at the very last moment pitched it almost forward. Tyson Williams back deep for ACU, and
Utah Tech player number
Marks will
15
try to
is
get
now
this
number
off cleanly
68.
here. 36 seconds to play. ACU still with 2 of its timeouts.
Charge timeout. Utah Tech, their second.
So Utah
It's a
Tech calls a
30-second
timeout here. You wouldn't expect any kind of shenanigan from your own 26-yard line, but you never know. There's no reason for them to take these timeouts to the locker room, so they will confer.
Right.
This is Utah Tech's first year now as an institution being fully eligible for the postseason after moving up to Division I in 2020, like Tarleton State, I should say second year. So you go through that just grind of knowing that you can't go to the postseason no matter what you do in that transition. Abilene Christian went through that in 2013 through 2017. All right, after the timeout, they do punt it away. Williams retreats, and he'll try to return this one. And he's got a little bit of room. Tyson Williams across the 40, and the clock will be at 25 seconds from the 42 with 2 timeouts and a chance for Graham Harrell, the offensive coordinator for ACU, to maybe get something out of this. Maybe a last second field goal from Brandon Perez like last week.
Yeah, and at least get the offense to feel like they've done something for ACU, which has been pretty inept the entire first half.
Deontay Dean is in at running back. We haven't seen Jordan Vaughn yet today. It's been E.J. Wilson and Rovon Banks. Deontay Dean checks in, redshirt freshman from Lake Highlands High School in Dallas. And he'll get the carry. Deontay Dean. It's about 4. Let's see if we see the timeout. We do. So each team picks up 4 on a run, then calls a timeout.
Charge timeout.
Second down and 6 coming up for ACU with 20 seconds to
timeout.
go. Again, the ACU offense held scoreless, but the defense with a couple of scores. You feel that as an offensive player, don't you? A little bit? Like,
not just
they bailed us out.
You feel it a lot. You go into the halftime, not with your head down, but just really, really frustrated. You should be. Anybody has to own their own performance, and ACU's offense has not performed well at all.
And it's been an offense that's averaged 40-plus points per game at home, but held scoreless here in the first half today on the offensive side of the ball. Second down and 6, 20 seconds to go. Time is of the essence here. Earl dumps it off, caught. This is going to be a first down. It's E.J. Wilson. He's going to get to the sideline and save a timeout. 12 seconds to play, and now probably 10 yards away from a field goal attempt or field goal range.
Yeah, great job by E.J. Wilson, just catching the ball, going upfield, then seeing that he had a chance to get out of bounds.
Gibson and Baltrop are at the top of the screen. Dallas Dudley and Eddie Henry, the tight end, are on the left side of the formation. First and 10, 12 seconds. That's the big challenge at the moment for ACU. Stone Earl looks to the sideline, gets the call. They stick with what they had. Big moments here to determine the outcome of this game. Earl looking deep. It is through the hands, nearly intercepted. Intended for Henry. And 7 seconds left. It'll be second down and 10.
Yeah, had Henry, and the ball
Holding.
was a bit high.
Offense,
and
number 75.
Braden
10-yard
Cervello
penalty.
had his hands
Second
on it.
down.
Another flag thrown, and it wouldn't have mattered. Mark this one off, and now, with 7 seconds to go, it's going to be tough to get enough yardage to try a field goal before the end of the half. This could be the final play of the second quarter. And penalties have been a problem mostly on offense for ACU. That's the 5th one and the 4th holding call. Brandon Perez has a huge leg, but he would be kicking, for the most part, into the wind. Henry goes in motion. Second down and long, make it first and long. Earl is going to run it. This is going to be the final play of the half. And maybe fittingly, the half ends with ACU
That is the end of the first half.
struggling to play cleanly. And the offense gets shut out, but the defense scores twice. And so at halftime, it's ACU in a must-win game, as it will be the next 2 weeks, leading Utah Tech 14-7. And this doesn't always happen, but Keith Patterson has gathered his team. There you see them at midfield before they even go to the locker room. We're going to try to get Coach Patterson, who is, I guess, happy that they're ahead, not happy with the overall performance. Daisy Strine is going to find out exactly how Coach Patterson is feeling. Daisy is down there with the coach, and as soon as he gets there, she'll talk to him. Let's see. All right, go Daisy.
Hey, Coach, a very strong defensive half, 2 defensive touchdowns and pick sixes. How are you going to get the offense on track here in the second half?
Yeah, well, defense wins championships, and, you know, we got to get it going. We need to score 3 times on offense. We need to have two more takeaways on defense to win the game.
And, Coach, one of your main goals each season is to go undefeated at home. That goal within your reach, how are you going to make it happen?
Yeah, we just got to come out and play 30 minutes of football right here, and you're playing for something bigger than yourself. You're playing for a group of young men who are trying to go 1-0 today and 5-0 on the season, and 17-4 record in the past 4 years. So that's something to be proud of.
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you. Grant, we'll send it back up to you.
Daisy, thanks, and Coach Patterson, thanks. You can see some of the frustration in his face. Big picture, his team leads Utah Tech 14-7 at the break. We're back to Abilene in a moment.
Here in Abilene. Did anyone expect this? 2 picks, the only offense for ACU in this one. Hey everybody, Zion Webb, Roman Raffelli. Roman, you told me it's kind of just ACU's coming out slow. Is that all it is? They just coming out slow?
I mean, the offense couldn't get ahead of the chains. A lot of penalties, a lot of holding calls. Just not a great executing offensive first half. But 2 pick sixes. It's their first pick 6 since 2023 against Texas A&M. That was late November in that one. The defense has come out to play, but the offense has a lot to improve on in the second half.
Hey, there we go. Looking at the first half stats, it looks pretty even right now. Both teams are struggling offensively, not running the football route, not doing it in the air as well. What have you seen, Roman?
Yeah, I mean, Utah Tech, a struggling program, 2-7, really in the middle of a rebuild there. The turnovers, big killers for them in that second half, or that first half, excuse me. They've got a great running back. Asa Chapman just knows what he's doing. You got to continue to feed him. Got to let him do it all. He scored the touchdown. Need to see him touch it more in that second half.
Yeah, and it looked like the success for Utah Tech started coming when they realized Keith Patterson was playing a little bit soft. Stop going for the long balls. They decided to just get some underneath stuff. What'd you see?
Yeah, a lot of that, passes in the flat with the tight ends. We saw tight end reverse once on there, but a lot of just short passing, dink and dunk kind of stuff to get chunk plays because then it'll force Keith Patterson in that Wildcat defense to come down, send some more pressure, play low, and then you can look for that top shot. Need to play a more balanced approach moving forward.
Yeah, looking at some halftime highlights, Roman, like I said, neither team offensively doing what they want to do, but defensively, you got to be a little happy, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the Wildcat defense has done their job, only giving up 7 points in that first half. Nice run here from J.B. Mitchell. Need to see more of that. This offense is built on Javon Gibson and J.B. Mitchell. Those receivers there, Dallas Dudley, Rager, and Balltrip as well, just working over the middle. They're great in the slants, great on some crossing routes, some mesh patterns. They need to start getting back to that. This offense is thriving in that situation. No Jordan Vaughn today, so the run game has struggled more, but if they can get going on the ground, Stone Earl as well, they should be in good shape.
I got a quick question for you. We saw 2 quarterbacks coming out for Utah Tech. Do you think that's beneficial against this Wildcat defense?
Against this Wildcat defense, I don't know. I think that they're just so physical with, Will Schaefer there in the middle, especially Kagan Roach, Chris Wright. It's a physical defense. It might help to, give them a sec to really just not get hit on a play, but that's what they always do. They run that double style where you've got your more physical guy and then your guy who can throw it over the top a little bit. It hasn't proved to be super effective against this team. We'll see what they do in the second half, but ultimately not been great so far.
We'll take a look at our quarterback comparisons. Neither of these quarterbacks looking like they're playing like prime Tom Brady, but they're getting the job done, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that QBR really jumps off the page for Stone Earl. 67% of his passes completed, and then the 2 picks from Bronson Barbin. You can't have those. I mean, a pick alone is bad. A pick 6 is a tough thing to get back into football again, but your defense is doing enough against this ACU offense that those 2 picks are not the end of the world so far. Definitely need to take care of the football a little bit better in the second half.
All right, well, that's it for us. Zion Webb, Roman Raffelli here at the halftime desk. We'll see you post-game after a good second half of football.
Back here in Abilene, Texas, where the number 18 ranked Wildcats of ACU lead Utah Tech 14-7, getting ready for the second half. Grant Boone alongside Jim Reese. I've never seen a fan base or a coaching staff so disappointed with a 14-7 lead.
Yeah.
Abilene Christian with 2 defensive touchdowns, but the offense has been shut out.
Disappointed is an understatement for what they really thought at halftime and talked about. Offense usually for ACU averages 40 points a game, and they've not scored. Second key factor with offense, to me, it points to an offensive line that may not have the intensity they usually do, but 4 holding penalties, you can't win with that. So that's got to change.
And in a way, the playoffs have already begun for Abilene Christian, because if they lose any of these next 3 regular season games, they will not go to the playoffs. Take a look at halftime adjustments. Continue to play strong defense. That's the mantra for Utah Tech and Lance Anderson. Ground and pound. Got to get that running game going. And for ACU, normally great on third downs. It's hard to convert third downs, I've noticed, when it's 3rd and 20.
Yeah, and the mistakes and probably our lack of running game consistently for Abilene Christian is one of the keys, and they've got to find a way to change that.
Yeah, those offensive penalties that you mentioned really put them in some difficult down and distance positions. So, for Abilene Christian, they will get the ball to start the second half, and I would suggest this becomes an important drive for Abilene Christian. Maybe not even just for today, possibly.
For their chance to really make the playoffs after the next 3 games, this may be the drive that determines that, based on execution and energy and a quarterback that needs to eliminate mistakes.
And Stone Earl, who, as we saw at halftime with the guys, 14 of 21, so 2/3. That's the good news. But each time Abilene Christian found a little rhythm offensively, there would be a holding call to set them back. And as we've seen in the replays, it looked like those were good calls, actually.
Yes, it did.
That those were not flags that ACU could argue with a whole lot. All right, kicking it off is going to be Ilya Uvedov for Utah Tech, and we are underway. Gets good wood on this one, and that lands beyond the back line of the end zone. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Abilene Christian at the 25-yard line. Again, you look at yards per play, reasonable, 6.3, but again, it's it has really been the penalty that has set ACU back. And Deontay Dean, who came in late in the first half, is going to start the second half. Jordan Vaughn is such a threat offensively. The running back position for Abilene Christian, he's barely played since being injured against Southern Utah 3 weeks ago. First chance of the second half. And it's a give to Deontay Dean, who lowers the shoulder for about 2. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 8. In the first half, ACU averaged a little over 5 yards per carry. The very first run was for 27 from Rovan Banks. They came out pass heavy early.
Yes,
ACU did. We'll see about the second half. 2nd and 8. And it's a give. And Dean gets to the outside. And he'll be up, well, look at the extra effort. He gets to the 34, brings up 3rd and short, where it looked like he got stopped about 2 yards before that.
Absolutely got an extra 2 or 3 yards and made it 3rd and 1 versus 3rd and 4.
And he'll get a breather. Looking for a tailback in there, don't see one. Yeah, it's going to be E.J. Wilson. There he is. Went for 100+ last week. 3rd down and short. First possession of the second half. In motion is Eddie Henry. It's a give to Wilson. He's got the first down and a couple more. And ACU moves the chains. 1st and 10 at the 37.
Yeah, decent push. Excuse me, Coach. A decent push for center and 2 guards just running right up the middle.
One of the hallmarks of this ACU offense this year, long drives, converting 3rd downs, keep their defense off the field. They had one good drive today offensively from their own 1 to the 35 of Utah Tech, but it stalled out. And they go run heavy to start this second half, and E.J. Wilson just keeps the legs churning to turn a loss into a 2-yard gain. So we see a difference already offensively.
Yeah, play selection. I think the intent, the goal here at the beginning of the third quarter is for Abilene Christian to be able to run the ball. Then they'll come back with play action and bootleg, you would think.
All right, 2nd down and 8. Must win for the last 4 weeks of the season. They got the win last week here against Tarleton State. Earl looks like he wants to throw here. Pressure coming, rolls out of it. Breaks one tackle, but not the rest. It's a sack, the first of the game. And now it's going to be 3rd down and long for ACU.
Yeah, that's credit to the defensive line for Utah Tech and lack of blocking for ACU's offensive line. Stone Earl had no chance.
Cyrus Aguinaga had the initial pressure that blew the play up. So once again, 3rd down and behind the chains. They converted on 3rd and 1. Tougher task here. Eddie Henry splits out wide. They blitz. Earl wide of Javon Gibson, had him. Might still be going if he had been able to bring it in, but it's going to be a punt for the ACU offense, which remains scoreless today.
Yeah, 0 coverage. Straight man brought 6, maybe 7 on the blitz. Stone Earl had to throw early, but had him wide open.
The frustrated ACU offense exits, and Hugo Nash and the punt team back out. Shaquille Mitchell back deep for Utah Tech. It's a short punt. It is going to be fielded at the 33-yard line. Just a 34-yard punt. No return. Utah Tech with the ball and a chance to tie the game early 3rd quarter here in Abilene.
To be a part of your life's greatest joys, to walk with you through your deepest sorrows. We are committed to serving you and your loved ones, our patients, and our community. With every service and every building are to bring better care to our home in Texas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for trusting Hendrick Health with your care for 100 years.
There's nothing like game day in the big country. From football to basketball and baseball, ACU Wildcat pride runs deep, and Texas Farm Bureau Insurance members can be right in the middle of the excitement with 2 complimentary tickets to ACU Athletics events. It's simple. Visit your local Texas Farm Bureau Insurance agent and sign up. Then head online to claim your tickets. Visit acusports.com/TFB tickets to select your game and claim your seat to cheer on the Wildcats, courtesy of Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Go Wildcats!
The hunger to win is fueled by a chance to compete and the thrill of the action. The cheers from the crowd energize our team and push them on to victory. Whether it's the pre-game excitement of tailgating or the post-game euphoria of winning celebrations, United Supermarkets always brings an A-game to your party. From kickoff to tip-off and the final buzzer to the last out, United Supermarkets is proud to be the official sponsor of Abilene Christian University.
Lance Anderson, head coach in his 2nd season at Utah Tech. He was on the Stanford staff for 15 years. He coached with Jim Harbaugh at University of San Diego. That was back in 2006. Went with Harbaugh to Stanford the next year and then coached for David Shaw at Stanford. Said that Harbaugh taught him the importance of creating physicality and energy. And Lance has that in spades. Infectious personality. Handoff up the middle. Chapman for a couple. Gain of, they'll call it 3, second down and 7.
It's going to change the complexion of the game as Utah Tech is able to take the ball down and score. Would create a whole new vibe.
And so only the Blazers have an offensive touchdown today. That was on a 75-yard drive. Came back in the second quarter right after ACU had gotten its first of 2 pick sixes. 2nd and 7 for Bronson Barbin. Goes play action. Time to throw, now pressure coming, and now he goes down. It may have been Fanua again who had the pick 6 earlier. Let's see who gets out. No, it's Chris Herpin. Herpin 93, not 23. Herpin with the sack, and it's 3rd and 10.
No blitz, just rushed 4.
Big play from the ACU defense, and now 3rd and long for the Blazers. Had the overtime victory last week against North Alabama at home. North Alabama scored first, missed the extra point in overtime, and then Utah Tech converted to 4th and 10, then got a Chapman touchdown. Now 3rd and 10. 3-man rush, and this one is going to be caught for a first down by Olsen. Near midfield, right at midfield. 17-yard gain, and Barbin on the money.
Yeah, 15-yard out from the slot. Great throw.
And he had Chris Wright of ACU in his face when he threw it. Quick hitter. And this is Rilos. And that's a good first down. Starter. Gain of 6. Blazers on the move here. They are catching up, almost dead even with ACU in total yards here today. Second down and 4 in ACU territory. In motion is the quarterback, Graff. They give it to Chapman, and he's got a first down. Now the other quarterback, Reggie Graff, who was in the game for a play earlier, he and Barbin both went to Dixie High School there in St. George. And again, for the second time, using him basically as a decoy.
As a decoy.
1st and 10 after the Chapman carry. At the ACU 37-yard line, Blazers trying to tie the game up. Monson, the tight end, in motion to give to Bretton Stone this time. And Chris Herpin with a jersey tackle. Wouldn't let him go. Minimal gain, and Herpin, who had the sack earlier in the drive, stops that one for 1.
Yeah, great job by Herpin. Needed a tearaway jersey if you were Utah Tech.
2nd down and 9 from the ACU 36 with the wind at their backs. It's a team that won 1 game last year. They've doubled that this year, looking for their biggest win since joining the UAC. To knock off first place Abilene Christian. It's a handoff to Stone, and he's got about 4, maybe 3. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and about 6.
Yeah, big 3rd down. Probably thinking they're down by 7 here in the 3rd quarter. They would probably be thinking 2 plays to get 6 yards.
This is a team that's 0-4 on the road, but not playing like it. This is really what we've seen from Utah Tech all year. Though they're 2-7, they have been in just about every game. And they're in this one for sure. 3rd and 6. Barbin going to throw it, and he's wide of Eric Olsen. And good coverage by Rashawn Miles Jr., and this is go for it territory here, or is it field goal time?
Looks like field goal.
Yeah, wind at the back, and the wind is picked up. I didn't bring my anemometer with me, but I'm going to guess 15 miles an hour at least, just looking at the flags. And from the middle of the field, the punter Ryan Marks will hold it. And, Ilya Yuvanov will attempt a 51-yarder. He's had 1 blocked this year. This one's got the distance, and it is good. From 51.
probably good from 60. Really hit it well.
And Utah Tech pulls to within 4. Windy day here in West Texas, which is the norm. And Utah Tech and Ilya Uvedov rode the wind to a 51-yard field goal, and Utah Tech is within 4, 14-10. Last week, it was a complete sellout here at Wildcat Stadium. Homecoming. Tarleton State, number 2 in the nation at the time, battle for first place in the UAC. A much different story, and Keith Patterson told his team to be prepared for more empty seats today and maybe not as much energy coming from the crowd. I think that's been the case.
That's for sure.
But at the same time, there hasn't been a whole lot to cheer about offensively for ACU either. Take a look at around the United Athletic Conference. Southern Utah over in Kentucky. They're trying to win their 4th straight and get to 500 on the season. Austin Peay leading Central Arkansas in Clarksville, Tennessee. And North Alabama leads West Georgia in that border war. Tarleton State with the day off. And here, Abilene Christian looking to tie Tarleton State in the win column. But it's a precarious lead. Screen to Gibson, and he'll get a couple with the block on the edge from J.J. Henry, but only a couple. And it'll ring up 2nd down.
Yeah, turned into a screen, just a little flare route and one good block in front of him.
They did give him forward progress to the 29, so a gain of 4 officially. And the ASU offense continues to search for answers. Utah Tech has had all of them so far. Henry goes in motion. JJ does. Earl. Time to throw. And incomplete. He had a back in the flat that he opted not to go to. E.J. Wilson looked at him. There was some coverage over there. Nothing's come easily, particularly today, for Stone and the ASU offense.
No, went to his 3rd choice, killed a couple of his choices, ended up throwing a deep curl. Good job by that cornerback.
ASU 3 of 9 on 3rd down. And again, you look a little deeper, and so many of those have been 3rd and long. This one's 3rd and 5.5. Earl over the middle, caught. J.J. Henry every conversion feels big for ACU at the moment as they're trying to hold serve here at home, tie up Tarleton State, and then go on the road against Eastern Kentucky and Central Arkansas and go back to the playoffs. But the playoff dreams end today with a loss. And Utah Tech is trying to be the ones that deliver that blow. 1st and 10. And JJ goes in motion again. It's a give to E.J. Wilson, cuts it upfield. There's got to be a face mask in there somewhere, it looked like.
Didn't look like it.
Could have been just incidental, which is no longer called, but it is a 5-yard gain for E.J. Wilson. And again, a 1st and 10 positive play, 2nd down at about 5. Watch again.
Yeah, good job by E.J. there.
Maybe got his hand under the face mask. 2nd down and 5 from their own 45. 5:40 to go in the 3rd quarter. And again, it's E.J. Wilson, again with a cutback, and again, a good decision and a 10-yard gain and a 1st and 10. E.J. Wilson has come alive, the Temple transfer.
Ran the same play twice, just looked like a stretch and cut it back both times. Really good cut that 2nd time.
Former Owl doing some good work during the daytime these last couple of weeks. Went for 105 against Tarleton State last week. And today, E.J. Wilson, 7 carries for 33 yards, including that 10-yarder. And again, another promising drive for ACU offensively. Earl is going to dump it off. Dallas Dudley needs a block, doesn't get it. It was Radrian Baldrup out there. It is a gain of 3, and we'll see. 2nd and 7 coming up. Earl today, 17 of 26, 156 yards. Wilson, the tailback. It's a give, no, it's a keeper. And that's going to be close to a 1st down. Mark him about a yard shy. First time that Earl has had a designed run today.
It's probably a good spot, interesting spot with him not sliding, but probably they put it back a couple of yards by rule, and big 3rd down, 3rd and 1.
His knee might have touched.
Yeah.
3rd down and 1, and you wonder if this isn't 4-down territory. Should it come to that? Eddie Henry goes in motion. It's a give to Wilson, and they won't need it. 30, 25, E.J. Wilson is going to go all the way for the first offensive touchdown of the game. ACU leads by 2 scores.
E.J. Wilson in charge of that drive, ran an inside zone, got touched early, made an outside cut all the way in.
He's come alive in the 2nd half of the season. And Abilene Christian offense finally on the board. They go up by 10. Now a chance to make it 11. Brandon Perez on for the extra point. Trying to go 5-0 at home for the first time since 1978. Right down the pipe for Brandon Perez. E.J. Wilson leads ACU into the end zone. And the Wildcats open up an 11-point lead.
As a professional playing and working in baseball, leadership in sports are things I deal with every day. I feel like I have my master's in baseball field experience, but I wanted the formal degree to go along with it. I needed something flexible with my schedule, and I wanted a school that shared my faith and values. That's why ACU's Master's in Sports Leadership was the right fit for me.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
One thing remains the same. Of all the places in the world, legends live right here in Abilene, Texas. At Wesley Court, our seniors shaped this community we're proud to call home. At Abilene Christian University, the next generation carries those values forward. Together, Wesley Court and ACU show the world what Abilene is made of: small town spirit, big hearts, and a legacy that lasts.
Well, Keith Patterson is thinking, finally, that's more like it. Take a look at the Hanner Chevy GMC scoring drive. 8 plays, 75 yards, took nearly 4 minutes, and finished off by E.J. Wilson's 36-yard touchdown run. It's a guy who is from Tampa, began his college career at Florida International. And there's his opposing number, Wilcox. Javion Wilcox, who's defensive back. And E.J. began at Florida International and had some good seasons for the Panthers, and went to Temple for a couple of years, and now finishing up his college career at ACU, and that was a big play.
Big play, and if you're an ACU fan, more importantly an ACU coach, that drive may be the most important one of the year in terms of getting back energy, confidence, and momentum.
And it's going to be a touchback, and it's the biggest lead for Abilene Christian today. And Utah Tech now with 3 minutes, 39 seconds to go in the third quarter, trying to answer. This is a 2-7 team, but you've got 2 teams here that have had some of the toughest schedules in college football on the FCS level. Abilene Christian has the 4th hardest schedule, according to some of the metrics, and Utah Tech 10th. There's a reason why they're 2-7, and as we've said, in almost every game, like today. And now let's see if Bronson Barbin and company can get things going. That was deflected. Chris Wright had his hands on it. While we have a moment, down to Daisy.
And were recognized, and 4 of those 31 earned special recognition as part of Keith Patterson's first recruiting class at ACU, starting with defensive line Alex Bowman, offensive line Josiah Fogel, and tight end Chitty Lebecki. And lastly, Colt Cooper, the only player on the field for the Wildcats to play for a 5th year, and he was here as part of the transition to Keith Patterson's head coach era. Grant?
Daisy, thanks, and we've already seen it. Look out, double pass here. Reggie Graff. He's been in the game a couple of times, and ACU was on it. That time, they, after using him as a decoy, went with the double pass, and it was incomplete, and ACU had 2 players.
2 players on him, and you were really smart in seeing the decoy, and they were setting it up the entire time they brought him into the game. Nobody took the fake, and good job of staying back by the safety.
Yeah, Plumlee, the safety, and Mangum, the corner, who were right there. And so Graff is out. Barbin remains in. 3rd down and 10. The ACU defense, with their offense having just scored, trying to give it back to them. Time to throw. Barbin dumps it off, caught, flag comes down, and down shy of the line to gain is Chris Street. Let's see what the flag's about.
Looks like ineligible downfield, that lineman's saying. If the referee going to decline it.
Brandon McCain.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 8. That penalty is declined.
Yeah, 4th and 5 from the 30. It's a long time for those linemen to wait. And one got out there a bit early. Well, the defense, which has allowed just the 1 touchdown today and kept Utah Tech under 200 yards of total offense. They give the ball, well, at the moment at least, they have forced a punt formation. Tyson Williams back deep and a whistle. And what do we have here? They jumped the gun a bit.
Please set the game clock to 3 minutes and 17 seconds. The clock will start on the ready for play signal.
All right. Interesting. ACU won't argue. That much closer to going to 6-4 on the season and 5-1 in the conference. punts away cleanly, and that is the best of the day from Marks. He drives Williams back to the 8, gives him a little bit of running room, but not a whole lot. Out to the 17, a 9-yard return.
Outstanding punt.
And that's a, is that a 71-yard punt?
Might be.
That was a thing of beauty.
Officials timeout for injury.
All right, that was Jaquio Mitchell, I think, a little gimpy getting off the field. All right, here comes, that's the reason why things have stopped. That's Devin Perkins. The terrific corner we were talking about early in the game, got a big stop on 3rd down. In the first possession of the game. Take another look here. Oh, that was not quite 71, but it was 62, which is also good.
That's impressive.
And a 9-yard return. All right, so the ASU offense scored on its last possession, and this is a team that led 28-10 in the 4th quarter last week. So a touchdown here, let's be careful. It wouldn't necessarily end the game, but that was also Tarleton State.
That's
ASU
right.
was playing, the number 2 team in the nation, who came all the way back to tie it. But a touchdown would go a long way. E.J. Wilson had the touchdown the last time. He's got about 3 here. Much more committed to the run in the second half, Jim.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think that's something they needed to do. It also helps Stone Earl to relax a bit and make better decisions, and so the running game has become central.
2 turnovers for Utah Tech, both of which turned into touchdowns for ACU defensively. Wildcats have not turned the ball over. They've had a few too many penalties for Keith Patterson's liking. 2nd down and 7. Earl wants to throw, and really good defense on Dallas Dudley by the corner Kyle Parker, and it brings up 3rd and 7.
Yeah, great job by that corner, and probably needed a better route from Dudley to get out of his cut. Just took a long time to move toward the slant.
Graham Harrell, offensive coordinator, whom you see there just behind the cheerleaders, on the sideline, giving the play call to Stone Earl. 3rd season at ASU, 6th season in college football. 3rd and 7 with his team up by 11. Time to throw. Earl dumps it off and over the head of E.J. Wilson, and it is a quick 3 and out for the ASU offense, and the Utah Tech defense once again does its job.
Yeah, Stone was just basically throwing that away. It would have been a coverage sack, should have been, and he found a way to throw it away, but nobody open, or if it was, he didn't see him.
And now punting into the wind will be Hugo Nash, and Utah Tech figures to get reasonable field position here. He goes with the low bullet. The wind really hits it. Fielded by Mitchell, who got hit at the feet to the 44-yard line. That is a 36-yard punt into the wind with no return. And now with 2:04 to go, we said what a touchdown would mean for ASU if they scored to go up 28-10. A touchdown here for Utah Tech
It's huge.
tightens things up dramatically. Here comes the ASU defense with Rashawn Miles Jr. and Chris Wright and Kagan Roach and Will Schaefer. They've been up to the challenge today. Good field position for the Blazers. They're going to run that option, which has been successful. The toss, and Chapman will have, I don't know if he has anything here.
Yeah, maybe a loss.
We'll see where they mark it. May have been a loss of 1.
Yeah.
Line judge says -1, and ASU defended that a little better than they have previously.
Yeah, they did. That's the old option defensive philosophy. Somebody assigned to the quarterback, somebody assigned to the pitch. Had them both protected and taken care of.
2nd down and 11. Barban 14 of 27 for 106 yards in those 2 interceptions thrown. This is a give to Chapman. Squirts through the defensive front for about 3, maybe 4. And a 3rd and 6 coming up. Well, you talked about it at the beginning of the game. Huge emotional victory over Tarleton State. You hand the Texans, if you're ACU, their first loss of the season. It was always going to be a challenge. What did Keith Patterson tell us last week?
Yeah.
He said the hardest game won't be Tarleton State, it'll be Utah Tech.
He's a prophet.
Because he felt good about their game plan and their chances to beat the Texans. He was concerned about a letdown. The defense has been up to the challenge today. 3rd down and 6. Barban's going to throw it against some pressure. Intercepted Plumlee again. Dorian Plumlee is going to take it away for a 3rd time, his 2nd pick, and the defense rises to the challenge once again.
And that's a great symbol for Utah Tech. Slant wide open through the hands of the receiver and into Plumlee. Wow.
Stuck in his thumb and pulled out a Plumlee for the 2nd time today. And that's at least 5 drops for Utah Tech receivers today. And it puts ACU's offense at the 30-yard line of Utah Tech. Well, for Plumlee, who had a couple of interceptions in 4 seasons coming into the game today, 2 today. So he's doubled his career interception total. And what a way to go out on senior day. Now the offense tries to play complementary football here and do their part. It's a keeper from Earl as Baltrop was running that jet sweep. It's gain of, no gain. 2nd and 10. Spotted at the 32. So the line of scrimmage was the 32, not the 30. 2nd and 10. It's been a great game plan from Patrick Moynihan, the defensive coordinator for Utah Tech. And Lance Anderson, a defensive coach. That's going to be the final play of the 3rd quarter.
That is the end of the 3rd quarter.
Field goal from Utah Tech. Touchdown from E.J. Wilson and Abilene Christian. And one more takeaway for the ACU defense. A drop from the Blazers, a pickup from Plumlee. And the Wildcats trying to put this game away. some of the ACU greats. Where's Jim Reese in here? Looking for Jim Reese.
I don't know. No.
He's on the other page. Yeah, Wilbert Montgomery.
That's for sure.
Superstar.
Yeah.
For the Eagles and so many others. Take a look at the conference standings in the UAC. A victory today for ACU moves them to 5-1. The importance of last week, we kept saying tied. It was tied in the loss column, which was the most important thing. And now ACU has the tiebreaker with Tarleton State. Tarleton still has to play Austin Peay later. Texans off today. Abilene Christians at Eastern Kentucky next week, at Central Arkansas, but not done yet. They haven't finished off Utah Tech. They're up 11, got a 2nd and 10 at the 32 of the Blazers. Now with the wind at their backs, J.J. Henry in motion. Stone Earl is going to keep it. Is he going to throw or run? He's going to keep it. Turns it upfield and gets about 8. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 26, so officially just a 6-yard, make it a 4-yard gain. And it brings up a 3rd and 4.
Yeah, good decision. Gave it a chance to look downfield, bootleg, but still got positive yards, did not force it.
ACU offense that averages 36 per game and 40-plus at home has been stymied most of the game. It's a give. This is E.J. Wilson. Tough running. First down to the 19-yard line, a gain of 7 for E.J.
Yeah, classic run. Offensive guard, tackle, tight end, really pushing, and E.J. doing a really good job getting yards after first contact.
Ravon Banks has the helmet on the sideline. I haven't seen him in a bit. We've seen Deontay Dean at the end of the first half and beginning of the second. But E.J. Wilson has been the star so far. 10 carries, 79 yards, and that lone touchdown by the offense. 1st and 10. It's a give to J.J. Henry on the sweep. Wilson with the block. Doing it all. Springs JJ for a gain of about 9. So that's one that won't go in the stat sheet, but E.J. Wilson was the reason that JJ was able to get that big gainer.
Jet sweep, great block.
Not in the official stat sheet. You know the coaches see it.
The one that counts.
Absolutely,
yeah.
They get graded. And he'll, I would dare say, get an A on that one. 2nd down and 2 officially. And Stone Earl in the gun. Jed Castle's in motion. Dumps it off to low. Had him wide open. Would have been a 1st down. And Stone's just been a little off today. Just a little bit. He's had some players, some receivers open. And here's, well, first of all, he had to catch it with one hand. That might have thrown him off a little. I don't know.
Yeah, wide open and about a 7-yard pass. Probably could have shoveled the ball like on a pitch, and probably should have, the way that ball came out of his hand.
3rd and 2. And again, the difference here between a field goal and a touchdown is the difference between a 2-score lead and a 3-score lead. 3 receivers left. Gibson over on the right. 3rd down at about 2.5. It's a give to Wilson. Nowhere to go. Brandon Jackson on the defensive front stops Wilson for a loss, and here comes the field goal unit. The Blazers defense again answers.
Yeah, that's a true zone read, and Stone Earl made the wrong read. Defensive end and outside linebacker came down. I think he had 1st down and possibly a touchdown if he keeps it.
One of the few Texans on the Utah Tech roster. Brandon Jackson from South Oak Cliff High School in Dallas. Here's Perez, last week's hero. On for the field goal attempt to make it a 14-point lead. No problem. Perez pushes ACU's lead to 14 at 24-10. Back to Abilene in a moment.
You trusted us to be a part of your life's greatest joys, to walk with you through your deepest sorrows. We are committed to serving you and your loved ones, our patients, and our community. With every service and every building are to bring better care to our home in Texas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for trusting Hendrick Health with your care for 100 years.
There's nothing like game day in the big country. From football to basketball and baseball, ACU Wildcat pride runs deep, and Texas Farm Bureau Insurance members can be right in the middle of the excitement with 2 complimentary tickets to ACU Athletics events. It's simple. Visit your local Texas Farm Bureau Insurance agent and sign up. Then head online to claim your tickets. Visit acusports.com/TFB tickets to select your game and claim your seat to cheer on the Wildcats, courtesy of Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Go Wildcats!
The hunger to win is fueled by a chance to compete and the thrill of the action. The cheers from the crowd energize our team and push them on to victory. Whether it's the pre-game excitement of tailgating or the post-game euphoria of winning celebrations, United Supermarkets always brings an A game to your party. From kickoff to tip-off and the final buzzer to the last out, United Supermarkets is proud to be the official sponsor of Abilene Christian University.
Last home game of the season for Abilene Christian, and they have opened up their largest lead of the game, 24-10. And while we have a moment, down to Daisy.
Hey Grant, thank you. After that field goal, I thought we should mention ACU the past 2 seasons has found themselves in back-to-back win by field goal opportunities and success stories. Last year against Northern Colorado and this past week against Tarleton State. And hey, ACU wouldn't be in the position they're in right now with the potential to be tied for #1 in conference without moments like this one. Guys, back over to you.
Yeah, Ritzy Vase had that walk-off against Northern Colorado. He's now on the staff for Keith Patterson. And then Brandon Perez last week, that walk-off from 47 yards. You know, the season started with Kyler Meskey and Brandon Perez splitting the field goal kicking duties. Perez with the shorter versions and Meskey with the longer ones. And finally, Keith Patterson said, no, I'm going Perez all the way. And he delivered. Take a look at some of the mistakes today. It has been a game full of them for both teams, but Coach, Utah Tech has really had some chances.
Yeah, big chances and bad reads by the quarterback and balls 5 times that should have been caught that would have been a part of a touchdown drive. So just many, way too many mistakes for Utah Tech.
And Dorian Plumley there with his second pick of the day, the 3rd for ACU. 2 of them have been returned for touchdowns. And now Utah Tech down 2 scores, still time, 12:33 to go. And this is a give to Chapman, trying to break tackles. He does a couple of times, but will pick up 3, 2nd down and 7. One thing Lance Anderson said last week, Jim, is that they'd hit some big plays, but hadn't gotten all the way into the end zone. He said last week we finally did, and it was the difference in that 1-point overtime victory.
Yeah, you're so close to getting over the hump, and you can't find a way to do it, and a lot of times that's mental.
A 50-yard gain, you get stopped at the 5, and then you have to settle for a field goal. This time they got all the way into the end zone. 2nd down and 7. Barbin wants to throw. Time to throw. Over the middle, that's Thomason, who shook free, and he's got a big gainer out near the 45-yard line. That's a gain of 16. And Thomason, so explosive, was wide open there.
Yeah, shallow crosser, and nobody followed him, just wide open.
That was Fanua who pushed him out of bounds and had that pick 6 earlier for ACU. Here's a quick hitter out there to Rilos. And Chris Wright chases him out of bounds after a gain of about 6. Josh Rilos. It was an emotional win for Utah Tech. Any win has been cherished over the last couple of seasons. They're just 3-18 under Coach Anderson, but when you look at the schedule they've played, you look at how they've played, how hard they've played. Here comes Graff again, the quarterback, and again they'll give it to Chapman, and he's got right at the line to gain. I think he'll have it. And it's another, Bretton Stone was the tailback, and now Chapman comes in for him. 1st and 10.
Yeah, Chapman and Stone are the kind of backs that doesn't look like they did much, but when the play's over, they've got 5 yards and great leg power.
In less than 2 minutes, they have moved it into ACU territory here. Still time for the Blazers. A lot of people in Stephenville, Texas, cheering for the red, white, and blue here. And pressure coming. Barbin going down with Roach, dropping him on the other side of the 50.
Going for the home run ball, faked the draw, and looking for split in, running a deep post. 2 men on him, covered, nobody else open. Just a 2-receiver route, taking a chance.
That's a loss of 7, second sack of the day for ACU. And back on their own 47-yard line, under 10 minutes to go. Barbin's going to run this one. Roach, get him around the ankles. Picks up about 3, maybe 4. Brings up 3rd and 13, and are we at 4-down territory for Utah Tech?
I think with 9 minutes, you got to seriously consider it. For sure, if it's within 5 yards, they should go for it, and even if it's 3rd and 10, I would not be surprised.
ACU sends in an extra defensive back, Romario Noel. So 3 safeties. 3rd down and 13. May depend on what happens here if they go for it. Dumps it off to Chapman. Puts his foot in the ground, gets about 3.5, maybe 4. So 4th down, about 9-ish. Down by 14 on the road, 9 minutes to go. Punt unit.
Interesting.
This offense for Utah Tech, 233 yards today. ACU has allowed just the 1 touchdown to the Utah Tech offense.
You know, I've got to question that. If you're Utah Tech, you're not going to make the playoffs. You're 4th down. It's a good sign of believing that you got to try, it seems like, there.
Into the wind, Williams runs up to get it at the 15-yard line. 40-yard punt with no return, and Abilene Christian, up by 14, has the ball back in the 4th quarter. V.T. Smith, Vitamin T, they called it. Played back for Tonto Coleman in the late 1940s. Went on to play for the 49ers in the NFL. Was a terrific player at Abilene Christian and then on in the National Football League. Tonto Coleman, by the way, went on to become the commissioner of the SEC.
And I watched V.T. Smith III, I believe his son, years later as a young boy.
So a replacement at quarterback for ACU. Quade Hawkins checks in, and he's going to chuck it. Quade Hawkins throws it and completes it to Eddie Henry. So we'll see if Daisy might be able to find out what's going on with Stone Earl there, if anything. But Stone is on the sidelines and maybe just giving Quade Hawkins just a little look here.
Yeah, great job by Quade keeping the play open, and as you scramble, the sign of a good quarterback, he keeps his eyes down the field.
Last year, ACU had Maverick McIver as the starter, and then they had to go with their backup Carson Haggard in their playoff game. And that was a 24-0 shutout of Northern Arizona. The give is to E.J. Wilson. He's got about 5. Second down and 5.
Yeah, you've got your whole playbook open on 2nd and 5. Can do most anything.
And there is the bio on Quade Hawkins from Bainbridge, Georgia. He's played sparingly at ACU. The senior on senior day is in an interesting moment here. The game is far from put away. High leverage moment for the first time since coming to ACU. There's a good idea. Hand it off to E.J. Wilson. Gain of 4, 3rd and 1 coming up.
Yeah, big third down. Good second down zone right up the middle.
And they'll hurry things up a little bit here. 3rd and 1. Snap to Hawkins. Gives to E.J. Wilson, and he breaks a tackle for a first down. Out to the 46. 6:37 to go. And just absolutely fascinating. And you noted on the previous possession that maybe on that zone read, Stone should have kept it. And who knows if this is a result of that, or perhaps just knowing that with a long road ahead,
you need 2.
You might need another. Cade Finnegan has also seen little time, but Hawkins is just going to tuck this one. They're not just handing off. I mean, they're calling plays
for it. Yeah,
for Quade
giving him
to
a
throw
chance.
it. Yeah, interesting. So 2nd down and about 8.
He's big and strong and really a good runner, really athletic.
By far the most important snaps for Quade Hawkins since coming to ACU from Troy back in 2023, so his 3rd season here. Clock moves, which is good for ACU. E.J. Wilson, again the cutback, again lowering the shoulder. Picks up about 6. 3rd and 2 coming up, and E.J. is nearing another 100-yard game.
Great job on the stretch and just stayed back and waited, patient, and then cut up.
And Rovon Banks will check in at tailback. A bizarre game, no other way to say it. ACU's offense has been largely kept in check. Just 10 points offensively, 2 defensive touchdowns for ACU, and now Quade Hawkins in relief of Stone Earl. It's a handoff to Banks, and again, that offensive line, think about this, Coach, in the first half, 5 penalties, 4 holding penalties, no flags in the second half.
Yeah, started to dominate, at least be physical on zone stretch and counter. Much better job by this offensive line.
To our knowledge, nothing physically wrong with Stone, but we won't know that officially until after the game. He is still on the sideline in uniform, helmet on. Quade Hawkins on a 1st and 10. Blitzer coming. Banks picks it up. Downfield for Gibson, and a flag comes down. This is going to be 15 yards for ACU.
Yeah, pretty obvious interference on press coverage, and never was a chance for that receiver to catch that ball.
That blitz came right up the middle, and Banks was there to at least give Hawkins a chance to get that ball airborne. Now, Hawkins has a huge arm.
He does.
And that's something Coach Patterson loved. We've seen, as we said, we've seen Cade Finnegan in a few times, a few snaps this season. But this is not your typical relief situation. It's not a blowout. 24-10 with 4 minutes to go and change. It's to give to Rovon Banks. Rovon to the outside. Rovon Banks is going to have another ACU first down, and this looks like the ACU offense that we've seen for most of the season.
Yeah, Rovon doing just a great job of waiting. It was kind of a draw look, and should have waited even longer for the hole to open up. Bounced outside, nearly scored.
6 carries for 56 yards for Rovon Banks, and ACU is closing in on 200 yards rushing. On the road next week at Eastern Kentucky for ACU. Eastern Kentucky losing at home today to Southern Utah. That game is in the fourth quarter. Thunderbirds up by 10. Hawkins in the gun. Gives it to Banks, and he had no chance there. Timeout taken by Utah Tech.
You know, even if you don't score here, the key job that this offense did with the new quarterback with Quaid is that they ate up about 6-7 minutes of the clock most of the fourth quarter.
ACU with the ball and up by 14. (24-10) Abilene Christian leads Utah Tech. 3:09 to play in the game. It's been a game that ACU's never quite been able to put away, although they are on the verge of doing that now. We mentioned this earlier. Next week at Eastern Kentucky, then at Central Arkansas. Win those games. If you finish off today, and Abilene Christian goes to the playoffs for the second straight year. Last year they won a game, then lost to the eventual national champs, North Dakota State. But here, a bit of a wrinkle. Quaid Hawkins has come in, and he has led the Wildcats downfield, 2nd down and 11 from the 16-yard line, looking to throw into the end zone. Going for Adrian Baltrip. It is caught. Touchdown.
Great catch. Unbelievable catch.
Hawkins to Baltrop. Not what we had on our bingo card, but it goes for 6. And ACU has put the game away. How about it? What a catch. You saw that replay. Incredible.
Yeah,
what
incredible.
An effort.
One of the best catches of the year in any division.
All right, so Graham Harrell, you think that was to give Hawkins a chance and maybe just to give Earl a little breather and maybe give him something to think about possibly?
Yeah, I think
it's a guess,
any good offensive coordinator, if they're seeing something that nobody else sees in terms of reads, decision making, then maybe it's just a nice reminder that your first team guys got to keep performing, or it's just maybe to give him a chance.
Okay, so here comes Brandon Perez for the extra point. And it is good. So ACU leading at 31-10 with 3:03 to go. And one more look here, Coach. Pretty good coverage.
Great coverage, probably interference, but great coverage, just an amazing catch.
Third receiving touchdown for Adrian Baltrop. And again, think about what we learned, that he got those eyes checked early in the season, and he had a bead on that one.
He did. He was 20-20 all the way.
I'll say. So Quade Hawkins comes in and leads his team. Let's not minimize, again, the situation in the game. They're on the 15-yard line, up 24-10.
Yeah.
You make a mistake down there inside your 20, and who knows what might happen, but what happened instead was an 85-yard touchdown drive, and Keith Patterson bringing in Graham Harrell as his offensive coordinator this year, and trusting Graham to make those calls. That was a good one, clearly. Fair catch called for. So Utah Tech, what they have left, they're at West Georgia, and then they come home to take on Eastern Kentucky. It has not always been pretty today, certainly not for either team. Utah Tech with multiple drops today. And think about the very first series of the game. 3 straight passes from Bronson Barbin on the hands of his receivers. 3 drops. They all would have gone for first downs. One of them, the first one, might have gone, if not a touchdown, it would have been a huge gain. And then a drop later would lead to his 3rd interception of the game. Now down by 21 with 3 minutes and change. This is a catch by Thomason. And Rashawn Miles slows up Thomason to allow his teammates to come finish the job. It's a gain of about 7. 2nd and 3.
Just an amazing and just really weird, mysterious fourth quarter here.
And again, Keith Patterson calls timeout with some substitution concerns. 2:37 to play. And Jim, let's talk about this Wildcat team, what we've seen this year. And really, you could say the last 2 years. And Keith Patterson's been very open about it.
Yeah.
Last year, they knock off a top 10 team in Central Arkansas. Emotional win, hadn't beaten Central very often in recent years. The next week, they go to North Alabama, not having a great year, and North Alabama beats them in Alabama. Then last year, they beat Tarleton State on the road to clinch the conference championship. They go on the road the next week at Stephen F. Austin, non-conference game. McIver gets hurt, they lose the game. Then this year, after wins, they go on the road, they lose to a sub-500 Incarnate Word team. They lose at Southern Utah with a couple of interceptions. Now you got 2nd down and short. Intercepted Will Schaefer. 4th pick of the day for ACU. Schaefer wraps up the ball and the game.
Wow, tight end going down the middle, and just kind of a seam shot, and another great interception by Will.
Preseason Defensive Player of the Year shows it right here. And how about the moves on the run back?
At least he thought he had them.
Yeah, tell you what, he faked me out. How about it? And so now, finally, yeah, there's Will Schaefer.
There you go.
He's on some billboards around town. And he gets a hug, pat on the head from the co-defensive coordinator, Nick Holt. This ASU defense today has allowed 10 points and 244 yards of offense, which in college football seems impossible anymore.
Yep.
There's the senior Lebecci. The tight end goes in motion. It's a handoff to Deontay Dean. And there's the first flag of the second half.
I bet another hold, which is appropriate.
But it has been a clean half. That's been a big part of ASU being able to finally put the game away. And so the big question, well, among the questions coming out of this one is, what exactly is the plan at quarterback for next week at Eastern Kentucky?
Yeah, it could be a mystery. It also could be that now you've got two choices. And that's okay, too.
Just looking at the numbers specifically, Stone Earl today, 17 of 29, 156 yards, no turnovers, most importantly. 1st and 20. It's a give to Jordan Vaughn, and it's a chance for the senior to get a last carry or two in the purple and white. I should say this. We keep saying last home game. There is a chance that ASU could play a home playoff game.
This is the 2-minute
if the Wildcats were to win out as we reach the 2-minute timeout, they would have a chance, and we'll explore that more in the final 2 minutes. ACU with 4 takeaways, 4 picks. Take your pick. 3 different ones have had them. Back in a moment. Well, it's in hand now. But, late third quarter, this was still very tight, and that's a credit to Utah Tech and the work they've done today. And it's a reflection of how Utah Tech has played all season long. But now Quade Hawkins on in relief of Stone Earl. Stone believe is okay physically, but Graham Harrell and the ACU coaching staff just changing things up. And Quaid, who's been here for 3 seasons after transferring from Troy, led an 85-yard touchdown drive, threw a touchdown to Adrian Baltrip in the previous possession. And now for ACU, they've got this one in hand. You win on the road the next 2 weeks, you're probably going to be first of all, you're in the playoffs for sure. This is Vaughn again. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down and long. I think ACU is going to be right, Coach, in that position of on the bubble for getting a home game. Because
close.
Seeds 9 through 24 will play week 1 in the playoffs. 9 through 16 get home games. ACU got a home game last year, won it. I think they'll be right on that bubble. That's just my speculation. So there could be another home game. First things first, you got to win. You had to win today, and you got to win the next 2.
Right.
Okay, 3rd down and long. Lebecci in motion. Vaughn gets the carry. And very little thanks to Nash Cooper making the stop. There is the team that's brought you the broadcast today. And Hutton Harris saying, let's just keep this thing moving, keep the clock running. Look, stirring the pot in there, yeah. 4th down, about 13. Offense is going to stay out there. Under a minute to go. Nice work, gang. And they've got about, 10 more seconds on the play clock. Take it inside, about 30 seconds on the game clock. We'll see if they run it or give Quaid one more chance to heave it. He is going to roll left, squares his body, dives for it, very close. They say he stepped out
That was a
at the
great
27.
effort. Wow.
Might be able to frame that one if anyone got a tight shot of it. It is going to be a
The
turnover
ruling
on
on
downs.
the field is that the runner was short of the line of game. First down, Utah Tech.
Jim, as you look back at this, if you're Keith Patterson and his coaching staff, it seemed to be prophetic what he told us last week. The hardest game won't be Tarleton State. It sounded nonsensical because that was the number 2 team in the nation. What he meant was, I think we're going to beat Tarleton, and then can we come back as a team? And you know better than anyone, trying to follow up a big win sometimes is harder than a loss.
Yeah, and you know it's going to be hard. Your energy and your motivation is just going to be different. And so to find a way, there's no such thing as winning ugly, but for sure a couple of quarters ACU is playing ugly and kind of blew it open, and it's misleading because this is not the way the game went.
And for Lance Anderson and company, it's once again a game in which they more than acquit themselves admirably. He's tired of the moral victories, I promise you.
Yeah,
but for a program that's in the midst of building, as, by the way, they move on to the Big Sky Conference starting next year. And this United Athletic Conference will continue without Southern Utah and without
that is the end
Utah
of the game.
Tech. It's a final from Abilene. ACU did what they had to do to keep their postseason hopes alive. They hold serve at home. They knock off Utah Tech 31-10. Dorian Plumlee, one of the heroes on senior day. 2 interceptions, including one that he returned for a touchdown. 4 interceptions today for the ACU defense. Will Schaefer had one in the 4th quarter. And they cleaned up the penalties in the second half, only one of them. And the offense, which was shut out in the first half, had 17 in the second half. And Keith Patterson and his Wildcats go undefeated at home. Goal accomplished. And let's send it down to Daisy.
Hey, I'm here with Dorian. Dorian, you've been a 4-year starter for the Wildcats. You started more than any guys on this field today. To be a senior and leave your legacy out here, what does that mean to you?
Man, it's just like KP always says, we're planting trees and we're digging wells that we're not ever going to benefit from. So it's just about thinking about the guys before you, the guys on the team right now, the guys who's going to come after. So it's always been about the program and never about me.
And you've had 4 career picks, 2 of them today in your last game. You get to leave it out on the field. What did this game mean to you as a whole?
Man, it was a lot. My senior night, last home game, at the crib, I had a lot of family out. That's good. A lot of people coming to support every family here. So, it just meant a lot to me, get to perform in front of my family, in front of my friends. So.
Absolutely, and it's not over yet. You've got 2 games on the road. How are you going to take this momentum and carry it into those games?
Well, KP during the week, he was talking about we kind of needed a win to get some momentum going throughout the rest of the season. So I feel like this win is going to project us throughout the rest of the season to keep that momentum going that we needed to get to the championship.
Yeah, congratulations on the win, and Grant, we'll send it back up to you.
It doesn't always go according to script on senior day, but it did for Dorian Plumlee.
Yeah, it did, and it's such a great script for him. Couldn't happen to a more deserving, high character, very talented guy.
All right, down to Zion and Roman to wrap this one up.
Hey, thanks, Grant. Again, Zion Webb, Roman Raffelli, undefeated at home for the full year, and not to count it up, 1, 2, 3, 4 picks for the Wildcats in this one.
Yeah, a huge defensive effort there, and they accomplished the #1 goal Keith Patterson sets for his ball club every single year. First one, win all your games at home. Second, play for a national championship. That's what's in front of him here, but hey, 4 interceptions, you're never going to complain.
Hey, tell me about this. The Wildcats at the end of the game, the offense looked like it exploded a little bit. What'd you see behind that, and Quade Hawkins coming in the game?
Yeah, it started with E.J. Wilson. That 36-yard touchdown run was huge. Really felt the momentum shift on the dime there, but Quade Hawkins comes in. Don't know what Stone Earl's situation is, if he's hurt, just a change at the quarterback position there, but hey, it worked. He found Rager and Balltrip, a nice pass into the end zone there. That's the offense this team needs. It's balance. You see there, 202 and 190. They're going to be balanced. They're going to do what it takes to get the job done and ultimately lean on the defense a little bit.
Yeah, and if you're Utah Tech, you got to be happy that you held ACU to a little bit kind of conservative in that first half. How do they build on this? They have the 10th hardest schedule in FCS.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule. They're in the midst of a rebuild here. They're going to fall to 0-4 all-time against ACU and now moving to the Big Sky. Not sure if these teams are going to play again, but today, and ultimately, maybe a step in the right direction. You obviously want to not turn the ball over 4 times. That's a tough one, but you hung with a really good team and a team that might be hosting a playoff game in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a big win for the Wildcats. They look to go on the road. Only 1-4 on the road, man. Got to get that going. Grant, that's it for us. You can take us home, buddy.
Thanks. Wasn't always pretty, Jim, but the ACU got the job done.
No, and this team, maybe all Coach Patterson teams have a way to dig deep and find that character, find that energy, and found it today. Boy, great job by the offense coming back and playing well late. Defense with turnovers was huge.
And that'll wrap it up for Jim Reese, Roman, Zion, and Daisy. I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching UAC Football on ESPN+.